What's up, everyone, and welcome to the commentary booth, where we watch, and you guessed it, commentate on the week that was in movies and TV. I'm your host and play-by-play commentator, Jamie Apps, and each week I'm joined by a rotating cast of color commentators to help you find your next viewing treat. This week I'm joined by a DJ who he changed his movie last time. It's now Superbad.
Yeah,
He's kept it for 2 shows in a row. His favourite TV show is Parks and Rec. Welcome back to the show, Jaxon Carr.
thank you for having me. It's good to be here. How are you?
Oh, yeah, not too bad over lockdown, but still just plugging away at that.
Yeah, at least now, as of Monday, we can start having picnics with fully vaccinated people. So there's some light at the end of the tunnel, and now we've also got a roadmap out. So I've really got a second win now. I'm feeling not as bad about it. Still over it, but not as bad about it, you know?
Oh, yeah, it's definitely better now that we're both sort of at that vaccinated stage and feeling a lot better about it.
Yeah. Last weekend I had a couple of drinks and I did something to my hair.
Oh, God. What is it now? Did you shave it all off?
No, I left it back.
Okay. Interesting look.
It's my skullet. I had my mullet. I missed my mullet, so I just decided I was just going to do this. So I woke up the next day and I was like, oh yeah, I did this. That's right. And I did a poll on my TikTok, and I'm going to dye it box dye at the back next weekend. I think, spoiler alert, I said like the most commented color. I think I'm going to become a ranger. So that'll be fun to be that. It's like the back, but
natural red, or are we going all out Manchester United style red?
I want to go out like orange ranger. Like I want to go like just a bad box dye. And the good thing about this is when I still have work meetings, you can't see it when you're like this. So it looks like I'm just shave my head. But then when I'm out, business at the front, party at the back, good to go. So we're going to be a nice orange hair color. I don't know if we'll still be around in a month's time, but by the time we next speak, I think we'll be able to get haircuts. So this will be gone. So this is a one-time thing, really. So just enjoy it while it's here, everyone. But
I need a haircut, something real bad.
Oh yeah, but
there's a lot of work to get this to look not ridiculous at the moment.
that's the thing. Everyone's going through it, and now like I see why women are always like, I need to go to get my hair done. Me as a bloke, I get my hair cut once every 4 or 6 weeks, 2 months. I have so much more respect for women and how they treat their hair, because yeah, it's just even look. Oh well.
Just like the worst part is that we're going to come out of lockdown, and then you're still not going to be able to get a haircut for about a month and a half because everybody's going to be trying to get one at the same time.
Oh, the only good thing about having short hair is I can just need it shaved. So I live near a barber. It's like a cash barber. I'm sure I'll be able to just pop it. Like it's literally 4 minutes walk away. I can just pop over there, and if he's busy, I can just come back. So there's nothing fancy needs to be done because it's a bit far from that anyway. So I'm quite lucky. That's the benefits of having this short hair. But I want him to fix up this because it's getting quite bushy, and I don't trust myself, even though I've had this for 11 or 12 years. So
yep. Yeah, my barber's like just down the road, but he was busy before we were shut for 3 months. So
yeah,
it's going to be fun.
Yeah, at least they're getting back to work, so that's for sure.
Mm-hmm. Big soccer fans, did you watch the 2 important games this morning?
I only watched Chelsea. I didn't want to watch Man United because I have this new routine where I like to run, and I didn't really drink a lot last night. So I woke up for a run this morning, but I was like, I need to watch Chelsea. Got up for that. Lukaku looked good. Sol in midfield, horrible performance. One of the worst debuts I've ever seen. But of course, Ronaldo was going to do his thing. I think the most goals he's ever scored against a Premier League team is Newcastle. So of course he was going to score 1 or 2. So
yeah, and just look like classic Ronaldo immediately. So
yeah,
they're a bit of a scary team at the moment now.
Man United, I don't like Man United at all, but it's good to see them have him then be relevant again, because it just adds that little bit extra to the Premier League, a bit more excitement, a bit more star power, a bit more. You'll see more Man United fans popping up again. So yeah.
Oh yeah. Blake and Dylan are already going nuts. And it's good though. All the United fans come up, and all the Arsenal fans have just disappeared.
Oh yeah.
So,
Oh, poor Arsenal. Poor Arsenal. I don't mind Arsenal. Like, out of the big six, I don't know, I suppose like any, but Arsenal's the ones I always didn't mind because I always like watching Henry and Bergkamp when I was younger.
Yep.
So I kind of feel bad that they've struggled, even though they beat us in the FA a couple of years ago. But yeah, they won last night, so they finally got a goal of the month that they can talk about this month because last month they had to use a League Cup goal rather than a Premier League goal.
Yeah, just training footage, basically.
Yeah, well, guys. So that's good. The Premier League's back. NFL's back. Great to watch the Bucks and Dallas on Friday. I think Dak Prescott's going to go close to MVP this year, so
yep,
it's good for them.
Especially coming off that
tomorrow.
That ankle injury. Like, oof. I was fully expecting him to struggle really badly, but Dak proves that he's actually a quality quarterback.
Yeah, and they were quite unlucky they could have won easily. I think they were quite the better offensive side. They just missed a few things. So I think Dallas will be good this year, America's team. So I think Dallas are a bit of a Man United when it comes to fans. They'll start popping up again now if Dak does well. So
mm-hmm. And yeah, Jacksonville's kicks off tomorrow. That'll be a big game, big exciting game for you.
Big Trev, I'm not going to get up. I'm not like 3 a.m. I can't do that on a Monday, so I'm not going to get up. But I'll try to watch I'll try to avoid the scores and then watch the extended highlights. But I think this is a game that we can win. I don't think there's going to be a lot of glory this year, especially with Etienne injured, our second first round pick injured. But I'm feeling confident, and we'll keep building towards something over the next few years. But I'm just happy it's back. Like Fridays, work from home. Perfect watching on TV. Obviously, work's the priority, and then Mondays and Tuesdays it's great. And then when NBA's back, my whole week's sorted. I never want to go back to the office. Work from home, sit in front of my computer and my TV. Wonderful days ahead.
Yeah, that's what I'm planning to do tomorrow. I'll have the one computer on this side, one here in front of me, and I'll just have Red Zone playing all morning while I work away at emails and random stuff.
Yeah, perfect. Oh, can't wait.
So probably should get on to what we've been watching recently.
Yes. Talk about all day.
Did you get to check out the new John Cena movie on Disney Plus, Vacation Friends?
Yes. So you messaged me during the week or last week or some point. Every day is the same these days. And you go, you should watch this movie, Vacation Friends. It's got John Cena in it. We can talk about it. And I'd seen the previews for it, and I was like, okay, it looks dumb. I'll watch it. It might be one of those movies I'll turn off and I can just fire up about how bad it is. Oh, man, it was so funny. Thank you for that. I have told so many people to watch it. It's the funniest thing. It just reminds me of Forgetting Sarah Marshall. You got a bit of 21 Jump Street with certain scenes when they do certain things. It's just, John Cena's just so funny in it. Their margarita recipe is phenomenal. I really need to try that one day. But it's just it looks so dumb, but it's just so funny. I told all these people, and then like my friend Alistair, got a girlfriend Michelle, she's likes the reality TV show, and apparently she liked it more than Alistair, and it was just the funniest thing I've seen in a long time. I just didn't think it would be, but John Cena just proves that he's a great actor, and I could not stop laughing. I told my roommate to watch it. I was laughing, I was crying, and it just didn't go. You know those movies that are funny, but then they stop being funny, and you're like, okay, hurry up and end. I think it was just the perfect movie. I really, really, really enjoyed it. I nearly got rid of Disney Plus, but so happy I didn't because that's great. I loved it.
Oh yeah, it's definitely one that's like really well paced. It's funny throughout. There's ups and downs, but it's got moments right throughout. It doesn't just have, we kick off really funny, then we drop and just chug along for a bit and then come back at the end with a really funny bit. It's like there's moments right throughout. Like you said, I think John Cena has like found his niche in like the movie world in these sort of silly buddy comedy or comedy roles rather than sort of like what he tried to do in Fast and Furious with the action role. Like he's much better in the silly roles.
Yeah, because he was really good in what was that movie? Trainwreck, and he played like, what's her name? Her partner, and he was like playing like this buff like pseudo gay guy, and like he was really funny. He should just be a comedy actor because he was bloody, like everything was on point. His hair kind of weirded me out, but by the end of it I liked it. But he was just so on point, and just his delivery and his execution, and he was the star you know how sometimes they get like, I guess they get big people in movies and they don't live up to their expectations and they're not that good. Like that, I've heard that She's All That movie with Addison Rae. Obviously, Addison Rae, the TikTok star, can't act, so she didn't live up to it. But John Cena lived up to it, executed it, was just on point and perfect. Like when they were on the hunting trip and they found like they found something and then were on another trip. That was hilarious as well, and just execution was just so perfect. Like, funny man. I really want to see him in more comedies.
Oh yeah, and it has like those moments like you said, it's kind of like a super bad, a Forgetting Sarah Marshall sort of. There's hangover elements in there as well. Like,
yeah,
they've just taken little bits from lots of different comedies and made this really funny movie that I didn't expect a lot from. Like, I thought it was going to be one of those ones where all the funny parts are in the trailer, but there's not. Like, they've saved plenty for the actual movie as well.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And I don't know, it kind of made me looking forward to going overseas because I was in Mexico 4 years ago. Actually 4 years ago today, I was in LA at Six Flags. But yeah, I was like, I can't wait to go back overseas now because that bubble's been announced. I want to go back to Mexico, and they were just enjoying themselves over there, and it had like nice things. You know, when something happens in a movie, and then it comes back later on, so they tie it in, and yeah, it was just, without trying to give too much away, it was just really well put together. So was that a Star movie? It wasn't a Disney one, right?
Yes, I know that one's definitely on the Star section. It's not. Don't let your little kids watch this one. Definitely just one for the parents.
Yeah, one for the parents. Yeah.
Oh man. And yeah, I was having a look. Like, this movie has been like in the works for a little while. It's had multiple people attached to it, but I'm glad they finally settled on Cena. There was the original pairing was meant to be Nicolas Cage and Will Smith.
Oh,
which could have been very interesting. And then they dropped out, so then it became a Chris Pratt, Anna Faris movie.
Okay,
Anna Faris from Anna Faris from Scary Movie, and Ice Cube as well. So that was. I don't know how that one would have went. I think that could have fallen flat really easily.
Yeah. Plus, Chris Pratt and Anna Faris were married for ages and had kids together, and then they split up. And then Chris Pratt found like a new wife within like a day, and I don't really like Chris Pratt anymore. But yeah, so I think they found Ice Cube would have been great as well because he's good in 21 and 22 Jump Street in that comedy role. But I think it's better when he's in it for less rather than more, like just for a few good punchlines and a good few cameos rather than just consistently. I don't think he can do comedy for 90 minutes.
Yep. Yeah, and then ultimately they settled on John Cena and Lil Rel Howery, and both great. Like, I don't think I'd seen much of Lil Rel before, but bring this movie back, which apparently is already in the works. They're doing a sequel is in the works called Honeymoon Friends.
Okay. Oh, perfect. Yeah, I can see that.
So I'm keen to see when that one hits. Hopefully it's not too far away.
Pump it out, please. Oh, yes. And you just know that this will be a sequel that's actually good, and they're not just trying to force it out because, I don't know, I haven't really read much into it, but I don't see it as like a movie that there was heaps of big fanfare out, like a Marvel or something, and it came out, people enjoyed it, and yeah, no, I'm looking forward to a sequel for sure.
And yeah, like more John Cena in comedy, I'm all about it. Like, just keep doing those. Forget that. Don't try and be The Rock. Forget that.
Yeah.
Your path is this way, comedy.
Yep, know your niche, mate. And bring back your rap albums, because I'm actually after this going to listen to some John Cena rap albums, because I always like that. So you've inspired that for my afternoon.
I actually do own that album. It is in my car somewhere. I just don't listen to it all that often.
I can't remember any of the song names, but there was this one. There's this love song when we were in high school. We used to like listen to it and joke around about it. And my friend Lyndon, I was going to message him after this and be like, "Hey, let's listen to the John Cena album when we have our picnic in a couple of weeks because it's just funny."
Oh, I definitely do enjoy it. Like it's a stupid system, but okay.
Yeah, no, he's good at what he does. Anything we saw him do a speech, which was very wonderful as well at the. At the casino. Yeah, that was. I still think about that occasionally. I'm like, oh, he was such a nice guy and just answered all these questions and really honest. And then towards the end, there was that person like with a disability or something that came up and asked him a question, and he went down and like hugged him, and I was like, oh, John Cena, so nice, so versatile, such a great ambassador as a human, and how he holds the record for the most Make-A-Wish in America,
yeah,
I believe.
He seems to be like just a genuinely great person. Like,
yeah,
he's always doing those charity things. There was a video going around on social media maybe a week or two ago of him, like, they sent him a video of one of the kids that he did a Make-A-Wish for initially, and then they were thanking him for everything he did, and he just started tearing up, and then they walked out and surprised him, and it was just one of those really touching videos where you're like, oh, this, I'm on Twitter and I'm about to cry.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's okay. I'm gonna find that as well. We're gonna have a John Cena day show this afternoon. I might even try to. Is he on SmackDown or Raw at the moment? Because I saw SmackDown was on the TV the other day.
So he's only on every now and then. He was on the SmackDown show that was at Madison Square Garden yesterday, but not on TV. He was just there for the live crowd.
Oh yeah, it's been a big weekend for obviously with September, the big weekend for New York. They had the US Open this morning, where that, I don't know if you watched, or that 18-year-old beat the 19-year-old on the women's. The Yankees are playing the Mets all weekend. Obviously, smacked like just a big remembering thing for New York. I remember I was in LA 4 years ago today, and we went to Six Flags, and we bought like a pass so we could skip all the lines, and no one was there, and we're like, why is no one here? And then we realised September 11 and just larrying around. So yeah, weird.
Yeah, 20 years today.
20 years. I was in year 7. We woke up for our first ever exams, like a big year 7 exams. We'd been studying for weeks, and we woke up and this happened. And yeah, 20 years.
Yeah, crazy. I still remember like everything about that day. I was in hospital at the Westmead Kids Hospital. Woke up in the middle of the night. Woke up in the middle of the night and was just like, I can't get back to sleep. I'm just going to turn the TV on. Just there was news on every channel. I was like, this is weird. And then I was watching it, and before I changed the channel, I was like, oh, this is a weird movie. Like, this is very like realistic and a bit too close to home.
Oh.
And then I changed the channel and watched the second plane hit live on TV.
Oh, really? Oh.
So yeah, like I was up in the middle of the night, so I watched that hit live, and then they started getting the reports from the Pentagon, and I was just like, yeah, I'm not going back to sleep. So then I just spent the rest of that day just in the hospital watching everything on TV because I didn't have to go anywhere, so I was just going to watch this all day. Just insane. Can't believe that was 20 years ago.
Yeah, no, actually, we're actually getting quite deep and heavy in this episode. But remember the London bombings where the bus got bombed and the train got bombed? I was actually in London for it. We woke up, we woke up literally 600 meters away from where the bus blew up, and we walked and we saw the bus. We walked down Oxford Street. There was we literally walked on Oxford Street. There was no one around. No one actually knew we were in London because I was with a friend, and we're supposed to be going to France, but we stayed in London. So no one knew I was there. And then I called Mum and go, hey, Mum, I'm fine. And she's like, what are you talking about? Like, I'm in London. And I was like, you have to come home now. And like, yeah, that was the most surreal day of my life being in London when that terrorist attack happened. Like, it reminded me of anyway, years, respect to all the people that died.
Yeah, the commentary booth is very close to all of these events from the looks of it, because I watched 9/11 live. Buddy was in Bali during the Bali bombings. I was in hospital again when that happened, in the exact same room, just on the other side of the room. So that was freaky. And then you were in London. Like, wow. I think the rest of the commentary booth team needs to just never leave the country. Like, this is scary.
Yeah, no. And obviously there was that Lynch Cafe thing, and
yep.
Yeah. Oh. I remember there was the Lynch Cafe day. Everyone was like upset and sad, and a few people when that was happening, I used to go on Facebook and like comment on old photos and just try to take the piss out of people, and people would message me being like, all right, we usually hate this, but we need you to start being an idiot online to try to take away some of the the sadness and the stress. So like I just started being me and just started commenting on old things and bringing up like commenting on friendships like between a guy and a girl. Like, oh, is this your new Tinder match? And then like I did a status like that day being like, yeah, I was taking the piss today, but I was trying to put some light into the situation and whatnot. So it's just what I've been doing online. Also recently just trying to be a positive light for people. So it's heavy times. Oh. You know,
on that sort of 9/11 front, I was watching. I've been weirdly watching a heap of the documentaries and sort of movies based on the events, like Apple TV.
A new one came out on Netflix.
Yeah, so Apple TV dropped a new one. Netflix have dropped a new documentary. Theirs is a series. So I watched the Apple TV one. Is just a hour and 20-minute documentary that follows President Bush in the immediate moments after the first plane. So it's like everything he did on that day and like chronicles what happened and how it all went down. So that was a pretty crazy one to watch. And then the Netflix one, Turning Point, is a 5-episode series that goes, each episode sort of covers a little different period. So it starts with obviously the immediate attacks and then how the government responded, and then the war in Afghanistan, how that then spread to the war in Iraq, and then goes back to what's sort of currently going down in Afghanistan and how that all has sort of played out. So they were all really like timely with obviously the anniversary today and everything that's happening in Afghanistan at the moment. And then there was a couple of movies as well. Netflix released, they put up the 2020 movie called Worth, starring Michael Keaton, Stanley Tucci, and Amy Ryan. Okay. It's all about it's the true story of the lawyer that was tasked with allocating the compensation funds to the victims of the attacks. And it's really well acted, but it's a really like slow, methodic movie about like the emotions and how difficult that task was. So I enjoyed that one. But the one I enjoyed probably the most was, actually I only watched it last night, the movie called The Kill Team, which is on Netflix, not Netflix, it's on Binge.
Okay, yeah.
It's a 2019 war drama based on the true story of the Maiwand district murders in Afghanistan. So that was when a platoon of US soldiers were accused of murdering Afghanis, sort of not related to the war, just murdering them and making it look like they were fighting against them with the Taliban and stuff. But
yeah,
and it's all about like an army recruit that he is conflicted morally with what the platoon is doing. So he sort of divulges that to his father, who then obviously goes through the correct channels to report that. And then the recruit ends up sort of fearing that his platoon mates are going to murder him and cover it up that way. So it's all about like the tension within the platoon, not so much like the actual murders itself.
Yeah.
So that was a very heavy movie to watch, but a really important one, especially with sort of what's going on in Afghanistan and how they've just withdrawn, and also with those sort of recent allegations against the Australian troops as well. It was just like, oh, this is pretty full on.
Yeah, wow.
And okay. At the end, because it's based on a true story, it gives you that this is what happened. And 5 of the soldiers were charged with murdering Afghani civilians. The main character, who's the one that sort of dobbed them in, he ends up being charged with involuntary manslaughter. He gets sentenced to 3 years because he's got a reduced sentence because he testified against the sergeant who was sort of leading everything, who was sent, and then he was sentenced to life.
Wow. Oh
Yeah,
That
like
sounds. I like it when you watch like a based on a true story movie or show, and they tell you at the end what actually happens. Like I've been watching a lot of also like I've been watching a lot of documentaries lately. It's probably the thing I've been watching the most over the past month, and it's nice when you finish the series or the movie or whatever, and they just tell you, being like, "This is what's happened with all these people." So it's nice to have how they tie it all up at the end. Sure.
oh yeah, yeah, like that, I think that's the most important part of a true story. If they don't tell you sort of what happened in the movie, they need to have that title screen at the end to be like, okay, here's all the facts laid out for you, so you have the full picture at the end.
Yeah.
But yeah, like
Definitely.
tough watching the last week with 9/11 stuff, but I think
Yeah.
important watching with everything that's going on in the world at the moment.
Yeah, I think that's the thing when you watch these like tough watching things. It's important to know at the end, back of your head, like it is important to know and educate yourself, and especially with world events such as those. So yeah, you persevere through them and you grow and you learn from them, and then you can watch your funny things like Vacation Friends and enjoy yourself. So yeah.
Yep. And you've been watching some sort of other documentaries on a pretty different topic, bit of old
Yes.
basketball docos.
Yes. So I watched Untold, Malice at the Palace,
Yep.
which I remember when that happened. It was pretty heavy watching it and just seeing like all the players like talking about like Ron Artest, oh sorry, Meta World Peace. And Reggie, you feel really sorry for Reggie Miller about how he could have won a ring if he wasn't around all these young dumb guys, and then how they then go in about how pretty much everyone won a ring besides Reggie or whatever. So I watched that. I watched the Luke Longley Australian story, which was great, which was really brilliant. And then SBS also had this series about boomers leading up to the Olympics, which I really enjoyed. So basketball's my favourite sport, so it was nice to watch those. I haven't watched any other of the Untold yet, but my friend Will watched the ice hockey one, and that looks hectic.
Yeah, I saw that one on
Yeah.
there. That one looks cool.
I think I'm gonna watch it today. Like I've been meaning to watch it. I was gonna watch it last night, but then I realized I had in my head I want to watch Batman Forever for some reason. So the one with Jim Carrey and Tommy Lee Jones. So I watched that last night. But I've been meaning to watch this ice hockey one for a while, which looks really hectic. And then other documentary I watched on Netflix was it was called Cocaine Cowboys, the Kings of Miami. It's about these two childhood friends who go from being like dropouts to being like hectic, like importing like coke during like the 80s and 90s, which is really interesting. Because I went through this phase, I was like, I just want to start watching documentaries and stuff to educate myself, as
Yep.
we were discussing. So yeah, I really really enjoyed, I guess, all of those. Mouse of Palestine was incredible, and then watched this other thing called Losers, which had some good episodes as well. Yeah, they're all the documentaries I guess I've been watching for the past month and really enjoying. Yeah.
Yeah, I think my biggest issue with those untold ones is like the way they're set out on Netflix itself. They're not all just like linked together. They're all just sporadically placed on there.
Yeah,
So it's
standalone
kind of hard.
stories. Yeah.
It's kind of hard to like know if you've seen them all, or like I wish they'd just done what they usually do with like those sort of series where they don't necessarily have to all be like a continuing story, but just put them all together. Like just put them under the Untold banner, so that I can click
Mm.
on Untold, see episodes, and then just go through and like, oh, I'll watch this one. Rather
Yeah,
than
yeah.
they're all in
I
there as
remember,
individual films.
yeah, it's weird. I was thinking about that as well. I was like, why have they done this? Why have they set out like this? Are they trying to be different or whatever? But I don't know. It's just, yeah, I don't know. I'm
Yeah,
gonna watch them all eventually, but I don't know, I'm not rushing to watch them all. If that makes sense.
I, I suspect they're doing it to try and like so people don't look at it and go, oh, there's 8 hour long documentaries, like,
Mm.
and think that you need to watch them all to get the full series. But like, just make it obvious that these aren't connected. That's all you have to do. Like just in the very first description when you click on it, say individual stories. Like just make it
Mm.
obvious that they're not connected. But I think when people see it and go, oh, 8 episodes, I don't want to watch that. So I guess
Even
that's their thinking, but it makes it hard for discovery. Like it's hard to find them.
the whole Untold thing's weird though, because I remember when it first was announced it was coming out, I just thought it was about Malice at the Palace, and I was like, oh, they've got a series like The Last Dance, and they're just going to talk about Malice at the Palace for 4 episodes, and because you didn't really know much about it, and then then I realized, like, how can they make 4 episodes about 5 episodes
A single event.
One single event? Then I watched it, and I was like, okay, that's over. And then the next week, the next one came out. I think it was with Bruce Jenner, or like when she was Bruce Jenner. And then I was like, oh, it's just different stories. So their whole marketing, how they've done this as well, has just really confused me, and I don't really understand why they've done, like, everything, how they put it together is just, I don't really understand what they're doing. And I'm hoping this is not what they want to start doing with their documentaries as well moving forward, because yeah, it's just weird. Very weird.
I think they've seen the success of like the ESPN 30 for 30s and are trying to mimic that. But like I said, if you're going to do that, just put them in the Untold banner and then just let them flow from there and just make it. Hey, if you want to watch a sports documentary, it's under the Untold banner.
Yeah, that's yeah. Actually, that makes a lot of sense. 100%.
And then what else have you been checking out?
So I have 3 shows at the moment that I now watch as they come out weekly, which I don't like. I just like binging a show. I was watching Dave, but that's finished. So I've got on Fridays, as we discussed last time, Ted Lasso, which I haven't watched this week's episode, but I'm absolutely loving it. I think it's the most pure show ever. So watching Ted Lasso every Friday or on the weekend.
Spoiler alert, prepare to cry.
Oh, I love crying. I'm not okay.
Yeah,
I've done that.
This is a hard episode.
Oh, I don't like what they were doing actually with Nate, so I don't really know what's happening there. But so I have that on Fridays, and then I started watching another thing on Apple TV, which I really like, which is free, called Mr. Corman with Joseph Gordon-Levitt. I still don't really understand what I'm watching.
I was going to say, are you enjoying that? I dropped off after like 3 episodes because it was too wacky and ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't really know what I'm watching, but I remember when I watched the trailer and I was like, I like this. So it just seems like it's about a show about this guy trying to be in his 30s and dealing with like untold anxiety issues and just trying to be him. So I don't really know what they're going through with it, but I'm in deep and I'm watching it every week. So I kind of like it. I've also written down other things I've been watching, but Logic, the rapper, was in an episode, and I was like, oh, that's cool. Like, Logic was actually quite a good rapper, but I don't really know what I'm watching, but I'm enjoying. I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying. I think I'm enjoying the intrigue of the fact that I don't really know what's going on, but each episode I'm like, oh, okay, like this is cool. But then something weird really happened because I was watching the one episode of the episode before, and in it he talks about like his ex occasionally, and then you meet the ex, and the ex is in Ted Lasso.
Oh.
She is
Healy?
Healy, yeah, she's Healy. And I was watching this whole episode and I'm going, who is this chick? Like, she's got this American accent, but I've been watching something lately with her. And then at the end, I was like, oh, British, oh. So I was having this weird thing where I was watching these 2 shows in both these Apple TV shows, and I think she's quite attractive as well. So I was like, oh, yeah, cool. So, yeah, she was in it. So that was kind of weird. So I'm just persevering that. But then I've also been watching this thing on binge called Reservation Dogs. Reservation Dogs, yep. And it's Taika Waititi is the executive producer, and it's about these 3 teenagers in Oklahoma, Indian, like Native American, but they call themselves Indians, so I feel I can say that. And it's about them wanting to like be teenagers and then leave Oklahoma because it's a bit of a shithole. And Taika Waititi is really good at working with kids, and this show is incredible. It comes out every Tuesday, and it's just a nice like adolescent coming of age comedy, dark comedy. And Taika I don't think he's in it. I think he's just names attached to it. But yeah, this show is Tuesdays. It's really, 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 really good. Like every time an episode ends, I'm like, oh damn it, I have to wait a week for another one. So yeah, they're my 3 weekly shows I guess I'm watching at the moment.
Okay. Yeah, I saw the like the little thumbnail tile for that Reservation Dogs, and the image that they chose, it made me think it was something to do with Reservoir Dogs.
Yeah, I
And I
told
was like,
people about it, and they said the same thing. They're like, is this a spin of Reservoir Dogs?" I'm like, "No, it's because that's what they call their gang. That's their gang name. So like, when you're teenagers, you're in a gang or you hang out with your crew." So yeah, I thought the same thing. But since I knew Tycho was attached to it, I was like, I'm going to have to watch this because I will watch anything he does. And yeah, it's really heartwarming and good.
okay, yeah, it sounds like it's worth giving a shot.
I was going to cancel my binge membership, and then this came out. So now I'm just keeping it because this comes out every week, and I'm like, you know what? Binge. Once again, as we've discussed, they just you want to cancel something, they just get you in with something else.
They get you with one more thing. Just stick around for 2 more months while this is on, and we'll have something else for you at the end of that.
But then the 2 months will be over, and then it'll be Christmas season. I'm going to have to watch a Christmas movie once every couple of days, and I'm going to need every single streaming service because they'll be split across everything. So
Yeah, they'll be across everything.
binge has got me for at least another 6 months. So yeah.
And what was I going to say? Yeah, Mr. Corman. I think that's going to be one where I'm going to wait until the whole thing's out, see what the overall response is from people, and then if it's like, hey, yeah, it pays off in the end, then I'll check it out. Because, like I said, I started, watched those first 3 episodes, and it was just like, no. When it went to the like big musical number with his mum, I was like, oh, this is too much.
I was going to stop watching after that because I was afraid that there would be a lot of random musical elements in it. But without giving away any spoilers, that's the only random singing that you'll experience in the show so far. He is musical and he makes music throughout it, but you don't really you hear like him working on it. But there's never like, and then we were hello everyone and like breaks out singing. So as much as I love music, I don't like it in movies and TV shows, but that's the only musical break that they have so far. So I don't know how many episodes there are, but I'm just going to keep persevering, and hopefully by the end of I think there's 9. I'm on Google now. There's 9 episodes. So next month I'll let you know if you should keep going with it. But
Okay.
Even like reading the synopsis here, the days and nights of 5th grade teacher Josh Corman as he struggles with anxiety, loneliness, forfeited dreams of a music career, and the sinking suspicion that he sucks as a person. Maybe that's like it because I just feel the same with me without the teaching, and I don't suck as a person, but like I don't know. Maybe that's why I don't know. It's I don't know. It's one of those shows where it's not long. It's like 20, 30 minutes an episode. So you're like, okay, I can watch this without committing, and it's once a week. So
yep. Yeah, like the very first episode I enjoyed. The second one not so much, and then the third one just turned me right off.
Yeah.
So it was just a gradual downhill trend for me on that show.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll let you know next month. I'll let you know if you should watch it or not. So yeah.
And you were reading a book as well, you were saying before we went on air?
Yeah, I was enjoying the sunshine. I was reading. I got given this book for Christmas last year, and I've started reading again. I go through cycles. And it's called This Is Your Brain on Music, Understanding Human Obsession, which really sums up what I like and basically explores the relationship between music and the human brain. And I've only read about 25 pages, but you know me and music, and I love it. And it's just, my ex bought it for me, and she heard it on the radio like halfway through last year, and she's like, I'm gonna get it for Jaxon for Christmas. Never got around to reading it because I was watching stuff, but it's really hooked me in. I really just like just seeing how like your brain connects music, and yeah.
I was gonna say, definitely nailed the Christmas present for you then, didn't she?
Yeah, she got me this. She got
like
me
the ultimate Jaxon book.
Yeah, this. She got me That's What I Reckon book, which I love. She got me Shane Moore and Cologne. Like she did well with the Christmas presents. So I don't know. Yeah, I'll finish this in a couple of days. Like I've started reading. I used to go for runs every morning, but now I like in the afternoon. So I wake up, make sure I read for half an hour before I look at my phone, Monday to Friday, just to help with my brain to start the day, meditate. So yeah, I'm definitely going to finish this in the next week because it's hooked me right in, and I've got not much to do today. It's quite hot, so I'm just going to read this, and yeah, it's really, really good. Yeah.
Nice. And then to sort of close out the episode, we'll circle back around and do some more wrestling-related content. I watched probably the best pay-per-view I've ever seen over the weekend, or last weekend. AEW had their All Out pay-per-view at the Now Arena in Chicago. 10 matches, and literally from the get-go, it was hype from the start and just built and built and built. Then they had a little filler match in there that was specifically put in there so that if matches before it ran long, they could just cut it out and people wouldn't get annoyed. But they ended up having enough time to put it in there. It was only a 3-minute match between Paul White, who is formerly the Big Show, against one of the AEW trainers, QT Marshall. 3 minutes, over and done, and it was enough to like give the crowd that little break before we went into the main event and then the epically hype ending of the show. So we started with the TNT Championship, Miro versus Eddie Kingston. Two dudes that just cut incredible promos, big muscular guys that just beat absolute crap out of each other in this match. Then we had Jon Moxley versus Satoshi Kojima, who came over from Japan. They had another match where it was just two guys just brutalizing each other. At the end of the match, we had the first surprise debut of the show, Minoru Suzuki, who's like the craziest man in Japanese wrestling. He came out and surprised the crowd and had a little scuffle with Jon Moxley, and then they had a match this week on Dynamite. We went into the Women's Championship match with Dr. Britt Baker versus Chris Statlander. Probably Britt Baker's best AEW match so far. She's come a long way in the 4 years that AEW has been around. She came in as like this sort of underrated indie talent, and now she's like carrying their women's division throughout the pandemic. She was the absolute star of the show. Then we had the AEW Tag Team Championships contested in a steel cage. This match earned a Dave Meltzer 5.75 star rating out of 5.
Wow.
So crazy, like probably one of the craziest steel cage matches I've seen. Blood, a pair of Air Jordans with thumbtacks stuck to the bottom. Ridiculous match. Then we had the 21-woman Casino Battle Royale, which is basically like AEW's version of the Royal Rumble. But what they do is they split the women entries into groups of 4 groups of 5. So then they come out in groups of 5 rather than individually every 30 seconds. And then there's the Joker card at the end, who was, in this case, the debuting Ruby Soho, who has just jumped ship from WWE and come across. Another really good debut. Like, as soon as she walked out, the crowd went nuts. So good to have a sold-out maximum capacity crowd in Chicago who were just into everything. Like, AEW has sort of shown that if you just like give the fans what they want, they just get more and more hype as the show goes, and it just makes it that much more exciting to watch.
Yeah, cool.
Then we got Chris Jericho versus MJF. Chris Jericho put his AEW wrestling career on the line. Bit of a like shifty finish at the end. MJF got the win, but then the ref came out and was like, oh no, Jericho had his hand on the rope. Restart the match. So they restarted it, and then Jericho won. So that was cool.
Of course.
Then we got the first match back in 7 years for CM Punk against Darby Allin. Wow. What a reaction. Hometown crowd for CM Punk. Just like 7 years, like the wrestling world has just been wanting him to come back, and he came back and did a little Fox show for WWE, but it was like just the tease of him coming back into the world of wrestling. But now he's back 7 years later and hasn't lost a step. Like, it was still a great match.
Wow.
Then we had that little lull for Paul White and QT Marshall. Then the main event was the AEW World Champion Kenny Omega versus Christian Cage, also like Christian from the WWE days. That was that was a really cool match. Looked like Christian might have broken a rib partway through. They went through a table, but when they went through the table, the leg like busted through and like drove into his rib. That looked really painful. And then post-match, Kenny's celebrating like, yeah, I won. He says, the only people that can take this title off me have either wrestled already and they're tired, or they're already dead. Out comes the debuting Adam Cole, who has been in NXT or WWE for the last 4 years. And before he went there, he was friends with Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks, and all the people that sort of helped found AEW. And he was on their YouTube show. And to get him to write him off on their YouTube show, they killed him off. And then he went to WWE. So when he debuted after that line, it was just like, oh crap, hype, massively hype moment. He comes out. Everybody thinks he's going to attack Kenny. He doesn't. He attacks Christian, sides with Kenny. Then they're like all happy, celebrating. And then out on the music, we hear the Flight of the Valkyries, who is Bryan Danielson, formerly Daniel Bryan of WWE. His music, he comes out, crowd goes nuts again. It's like, we expected one of these guys, not two, and if they were going to do both, we weren't expecting them in the same segment. It was just like, like I said, it just hyped from the beginning, and it just kept building and building and building and building, and then just ended with that, and it was just like, how do you do a better show than this? Like, it's just the best show that they could have put out.
That's brilliant. I love to hear that.
Yeah. And I saw they put out, let me just check the stats. They put out some data last night. It is on track to be one of the highest selling pay-per-views since, I think, 2009.
Oh, wow.
Had over, like, there's Tony Khan, the owner of AEW and one of the owners of the Jags, has said they are on track to do well over 200,000 buys for the pay-per-view at $49.99 a buy. So plenty of cash there. It was the second most searched term behind Labor Day on Google with over 500,000 searches, which is AEW's new record in that case. It led to Dynamite, their follow-up weekly show, beating WWE Raw in the ratings for the first time. Wow. So they're like the biggest cable TV wrestling show now. The only show above them is SmackDown, but that's on Fox. So that's just on like free-to-air TV in the US. For that show, they had 1.3 million viewers for Dynamite. So insane. And AEW has changed the game. Like, wrestlers are now going there not for the money, not for like the prestige. Like, obviously it's becoming a big company, but it doesn't have that WWE prestige of everybody. It's a household name. We're going there because we want to be there, and we see the reactions that the crowd are giving, the potential matchups that are there, because AEW wrestlers are allowed to go to other companies as long as it doesn't conflict with AEW tapings. They don't mind. So crazy. Like, even like Bryan Danielson in their post-match press conference said he's always been a wrestler. He's always taken wrestling wherever he's gone, even if he wasn't supposed to say it. He said it on TV because WWE doesn't like that word for some reason. They're sports entertainment. He's always said, I'm a wrestler and I wrestle. That's what I do. He's in this post-show press conference. He's basically said, I'm here to wrestle. CM Punk might be here to help the young guys out, but I'm here to kick their effing heads in. But like, I'm so keen to see him just like go back to his indie wrestling roots and just be the monster that he just kicks the crap out of people all the time.
Hectic. That's cool. I like that he's come out and said that.
Yeah, like, it's just awesome. Like, I could not have. There was nothing wrong with this pay-per-view. Like, leading into it, I was like, oh, we don't need this Paul White match. Like, let's just cut this out of the show. But then as the show went, I was like, okay, I need a break. I need to go to the toilet. I need to just chill out for a bit because I'm just getting more and more excited. And then that came in. I was like, okay, sweet, I can just relax and calm down. Like, this is just a match that's here. I don't need to pay close attention to it. And then they built it up again for the main event and just took it to a new level.
Perfect. Sounds like they've really know what they're doing, and they've got visions, and they're just trying to become the new dominant figure. So it's I guess exciting moment right now for wrestling fans everywhere.
Yep. Yeah, like if you're a lapsed, like if you loved sort of the Attitude Era WWE and that sort of Stone Cold, The Rock, like era of wrestling, this is the company for you. Like, check this one out if you can. They've got shows on YouTube. They've got highlights and stuff. If you see there's a video of CM Punk's debut on YouTube. I think it's like an 8-minute video. Just watch that. Just watch the crowd, and you'll be like, okay, I got to check these shows out.
Yeah, of course. Hectic. I like it. Something else for today to do.
Yeah, definitely. If you can find that pay-per-view, check it out. It's wow. It's like 4 hours, so it's a commitment. But yeah, even if you just watch like the main event with Christian and Kenny, that'll give you a good taste of what their wrestling's like. You'll get the debuts at the end to see the hype crowd, and then go back and check out the incredible cage match. Like, nuts.
Yeah, hectic. I don't like the heat. It's very hot today, so I'm very much staying inside today. So yes, I'll definitely
aircon on.
check some of that out. Yep.
What is your top recommendation for the week?
Look, as you know, me, I like to promote positivity and be happy. There's enough negative stuff in the world at the moment. Watch Vacation Friends. You'll forget about everything for however long it goes for. It's very funny, very well put together, and yeah, it's just a great belly laugh. Like, you will honestly laugh and just really enjoy yourself. Check out their margarita recipe looks nice, and they have it's great movie. Check it out for Disney Plus people, or get the trial to watch it.
Yep. Yeah, I was gonna say, if you want a movie, check out Vacation Friends. But yeah, wrestling fans, lapsed, otherwise, gotta check out the AEW All Out pay-per-view. Like, the replays on Fight now, I think it's like half the price. I think it's about $20. Just gotta check that out if you have any interest whatsoever in wrestling.
Nice.
Alrighty. Thank you for listening to the commentary booth. If you enjoyed the show, please remember to rate, review, and subscribe on podcast services and here on twitch.tv/JamYapsMedia, and over on YouTube as well. We're everywhere. We're on everything. You can follow Jaxon on Instagram at Jax_Carr, and he's also on TikTok. Got to check out the vlogs and everything over there.
Yeah, the links in the bio for all my socials.
That's it. And you can follow me on social media at JamYapsMedia, at Pario Magazine. The new issue has arrived. It's just got to be posted out for anyone that wants one. The commentary booth is a fan-funded production of Jamyaps Media. You can support the podcast alongside our magazine on Patreon at patreon.com/JamYapsMedia. The following people supported at the Jam publisher level or higher, and you cannot fathom how incredibly appreciative we are for their support. Brian and June Hart, Courtney Paulson, Jaxon Carr, and Tracy Apps. Thank you, and we're out.